Da, da, theme song, theme song. Da, da, da.
I'm Tanya,
I'm Nikki.
and we are A Thousand Eyes in One, the podcast.
Pew, pew, pew.
The Wheel of Time finale, season 2, episode 8. What was meant to be. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, A Thousand Eyes in One podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as Thousand Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, A Thousand Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram.
Well, prophecies have been fulfilled.
So we open with 3,000 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we get to see the sealing of Ishamael.
I'm shaking my head, guys.
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I was just like, "Oh, you just want to die? You're just tired of being brought back to life to fight this over and over and over again?"
Who, Ishamael?
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't tired of fighting this over and over again. He wanted to break the world
Yeah, because he didn't want to
because he
come back
doesn't,
again.
right, but it had nothing to do with this battle. This battle started because he was sealed.
I know, but my point is that all he wanted to do was die permanently.
Yeah, but you don't get to decide that for everybody else.
No, you don't. I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying now I know his motivation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make the reference because it's like maybe a little bit too early, but you know what it reminds me of and who it reminds me of. You know what?
My
Yeah.
question. So, all right, we see how many channelers it takes, how many Aes Sedai
Mm-hmm.
takes to seal one person into the Quelindar, the stone.
Mm-hmm.
I had two questions. One, could he not just be gentled or stilled,
Mm-hmm.
or like have all of them gentled and or stilled?
I
The
don't
ones who
know.
became the Forsaken, like after they've given themselves to the dark, is it just like something that can't be done?
Right.
And then my second question, do they need both male and female channelers to be able to imprison them?
Oh, that is a good question. And I guess another question is how come he can just do it himself?
Who, Lews Therin?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think he was powerful enough. It looked like they needed all of those people together to do it.
That's interesting to me
Why?
because I feel like if you're the dragon, that maybe you should be able to do that.
Well, I mean, I feel like he kind of becomes the dragon after he dies.
Hmm.
Because I think Lews Therin is like the original,
Yeah.
and he's powerful, but he says that even he wouldn't be able to break the seal.
Right.
So we know he is extremely powerful. And I mean, we saw the group of Aes Sedai on the ground, but as it panned out, you see that they're up in the on the other floors as well, and everybody's channeling. So it
Oh, I
requires,
didn't I didn't see that because
oh
my
yeah,
projector's probably too dark.
yeah, there were a ton of people.
Got
So
it.
it takes more than the traditional 8,
Maybe that's the 28.
maybe. But yeah, it took a lot of people to get that done.
Mm. Hmm. He doesn't get what he wants.
No, instead he's kept in this weird coma like, except aware.
hmm That must suck so bad.
Yeah, that sounds torturous. Just
hmm
3,000 years of just thinking about getting out.
Yeah, it's like being a genie in a lamp.
Oof.
No, nobody finds you to rub your little stuff. Like you're just in there thinking about how much you hate being in there.
I really want to know if they need male and female channelers to imprison them. Because I keep thinking about how much they've lost because they don't have male channelers if the males
Hmm.
have a whole different weave.
Right, right.
Anyway, we get the full opening sequence this time.
I skipped it.
Oh.
I always skip it. I saw it, it started to play, and I was like, you know what? Can we? I want the meat and potatoes of this episode. I almost watched it this time when I was rewatching it, but I skipped it again.
Oh, they haven't played it all season.
Yeah,
This was the only episode. I wonder why they made that choice.
I don't know. I'm
I
sure we'll
watched
hear
it because
about
I
it.
had forgotten all about it.
He was just like for emphasis. Like, look, guys, these are the weaves. It's gonna happen. Now we're back.
What an episode. We start with the children getting ready to invade Falm and Bornhall Jr. asking if the prophecy is true.
And his dad being like, no, it's just the lies of witches. And I'm like, ah, but this,
Yeah, the lies
but.
of long dead witches.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, too bad he didn't get to stay to see that he was wrong.
yeah.
Um,
But as you know, as you're talking about the need for male channelers and or just like what could happen if they live together harmoniously, it's like, the children of the light are the opposite of the Aes Sedai, right? They're both like they're struggling to wipe out this other thing and to make it happen. And it's just really frustrating because I want balance in everything. And
yeah,
it's like, imagine if you guys worked together.
I know. And like it's it's so hard because we have people like Bornhold Sr. who feels that he's fighting for the light and he wants to go to Falm mainly to free the Falmen
Mm-hmm.
and to free the enslaved women,
Yep, he wants to
even though
liberate
some
them.
of even though some of them are channelers, which he thinks are witches, but he still doesn't want them enslaved, right?
Right.
Then we have Child Valda, whose sole preoccupation is murdering them.
Dodging wolves.
But he just wants to kill them.
Yeah.
And to the point that he's a little obsessive about it. You know, he's a fanatic.
I was gonna say a tad bit fanatical.
Yeah. But on one hand, we want the children to defeat the Sanchin because we know the Sanchin. We can all agree that the Sanchin are bad.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you don't want the children to win anything because
They're
it's
terrible people.
yeah,
They're
it,
yeah, they're as murder. I don't know. Are they as murderous or more murderous than the Stanchion? Because the Stanchion seem to be of the vibe like, we're just like this is a land grab. We want more people to like see where we're coming from. But as long as you bend the knee, like whatever, we'll let you keep living in your, living your whatever it is you were doing before, as
just
long as you acknowledge us as the power here.
right. And I mean, it's really acknowledging their empress, their
Hmm.
rules.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, they're colonizers,
Hmm.
and so I can't side with them. But then it's like it's the children.
Yeah, we've seen what they do. We've seen what
Yeah,
they both do, and none of it is great.
none of it's good.
Everybody is hurting somebody in the end.
Like from Egwene's standpoint, it's like these people are coming to free her from slavery, but also kill her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So who's right? All in service of the light.
The Aes Sedai are right.
Even though they don't let men channel.
Yes, it's a problem. It's a problem. They need to bring back the Adam into their fold for the
Yeah.
men so they can control their channeling while they go mad.
Mm, I could see that being a potential, but also
Unfortunate.
problematic
Oh,
outcome.
absolutely. Because now you have like just like these insane slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. But if they want male channelers, I don't see how else it could work if the men are still gonna go mad and
Yeah.
eventually kill everyone around them, they would have to be contained.
Hmm. Do you
So it's
think
like,
Rand would submit to a caller to that
no,
end?
no, he'd be forced. He'd have to be forced.
Right? And it's just like
I don't
I
think
don't see him
any
signing up for that at all. Like,
I don't
this
think
is their stance.
anyone I don't think anyone would submit to that collar willingly. It would absolutely be a situation where you're forced, and that's pretty evil.
So if they're forcing people, if they're forcing men, male channelers, I mean, I'm talking shit into the future, but if they have they have the ability to force male channelers, like if this is their shift in perspective, like, oh, you know what? We got these collars. Let's find all the men who can channel now and make them wear these, right? What does the dragon do about that?
I mean, he'd have to free them. It'd be the only right thing to do.
Yeah.
The problem is you free them and then they start killing their families. And or you gentle them and they start killing themselves.
Mm, yeah. This
It's a
is
shit
Scylla and
situation.
Charybdis. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sucks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the Adam is evil. There's no way of looking at it where it's not evil.
Hmm.
But I also think of it as the only thing the Aes Sedai would do that would like make sense for them
Right.
if they want to contain male channelers instead of gentling them. Because I do feel like they're missing out on
Oh yeah.
half of the source.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like trying to ride a bike with one wheel.
Hmm.
You only get so far. Yeah. All the politics in this, I don't know. I don't know why. Like this, I guess I'm asking these questions because to me they're like philosophical and also political, right? It's just like, how can you continue to live in a world where, I mean, not that we live in a utopia by any means, right? But
No.
it brings to the forefront for me all of these questions about, human rights and equality and inclusivity and how to take two powerful things that want the same thing and actually make them, or three powerful things that want the same thing and actually make them work together. But the problem with humans is that they're hierarchical, according to Octavia Butler. So here we go.
Before we get into this battle with the children, because I do want to get into that, but I feel like there's a lot to say because so much happened.
Hmm.
Let's talk about Landfair. Landfair is
Can we
taking
talk
them.
about her outfit? Because that's
How
something I
much I
really want
love
to
it.
talk about. Well, the fact is like she's wearing a modern outfit, right? She's wearing
Yeah,
pants.
yeah.
And I think that like when she pops in, she's like, I was like, that is such a fashionable outfit. And she's
Hmm.
making a point to be like, ugh, I hate these times. I'm not wearing that shit. I'm gonna wear what I feel like. Um,
Hmm.
you know, she's wearing clothes from her era, and I loved to see that.
Yeah, she
I
looks
thought
like
it,
she's going to a board meeting and she took off her blazer.
yeah, that was my favorite. Well, that was my favorite thing about that scene is like it's just like she keeps complaining about how far behind they are right now in this time, and she's just like over it.
Hmm.
And I love that she's expressing it through fashion.
And now that she's not Celine, she wears so much dark eye makeup, and then the hair slicked back. Anyway, Landfair in the ways. I had some questions there too. So she dumps Moiraine and Lan just like bloop into the water you go.
She
But
kicked him off the bus.
she dumps them near Falm, which obviously was planned.
Hmm.
And then Rand is like, you channeled in the ways, Machin Shin. And she says that there are other ways that are
Hmm.
faster, but we don't find out what those are.
No, I'm telling you, this bitch is teleporting.
What is she, Peter Baelish?
Yeah, I guess. I like seeing that because like then the things like start to like sway around them. She's just like, close your eyes.
I
It's a
want to know
port
what
key.
she
You'll get
did.
dizzy.
I want to know what she did. I thought we would like see something.
Well, yeah, no. because when I watched that part, I was like, well, they didn't go through the Waygate. She winked out, How? And is this how she got Matt to where they to Falm? Because I think that's what she did.
And why, like, does Machin Shin just not affect? We talked about this before, if they affect
Mm-hmm.
people who have sided with the dark. But
Yeah.
we know that the Trollocs got taken by Machin Shin last season.
Mm-hmm.
So it does affect both sides. So why wasn't she scared of it?
Because she's a Forsaken. Maybe they have a deal with the Dark One because, they are his minions.
Hmm. Man, and we still don't know who was wearing that black ring, who the Black Aja lady was.
Sure don't. Or who that little girl was.
I feel like the little girl doesn't matter. She was just, somebody's kid who
I was
couldn't
hoping
find a
she was
sitter.
like Moraine, who had been kidnapped as a child, and that's why she's so scarred for life. But
Not if Pat and
clearly that
Fane is the
wasn't the
same
case.
age. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe it was Matt. And yeah, no, it was not.
Ishamael is not happy that Lanfair has brought Rand to Falm. And it's like she brought him to Falm and just kind of let him go.
Mm-hmm. Because she
And
wants him to, step into his destiny.
yeah, she wants to speed this up because she thinks that Ishamael is just going to keep putting it off. I understand both sides. What
Mm-hmm.
does Ishamael have but time?
Yep.
And he's right that if they push it too fast, that Rand is not going to turn to the dark. And he hasn't had time to turn all his friends yet.
Mm-hmm.
Although he does try to convince him when he tells her like he made Egwene a killer and
Yeah.
all those things. He does try it, but he is kind of right. It's not it's things aren't set up yet to make him turn to the dark.
What is Lanfear's end game in that then? Is it that she just wants him to, embrace himself as a dragon? Does she think that if they rush that he's going to remember her more, and come back to his old self quicker since he is like Lews Therin, in many ways that they're familiar with? I don't know. I don't know what her end game was. Like obviously she wanted to force his hand.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't, yeah. And I guess this is like the first time where you're like, oh, wait a second, what is this relationship between you guys?
Yeah, they very
This is
clearly
much
don't
more, this
trust.
was much, I was like, they don't trust each other, yeah, but there's something very tender about their
Yeah, they're
interaction, which we
very
had never seen
intimate.
before. Yeah.
They're very intimate with each other. And he even says to her, how did he put it? I balance you. So like they're each other's yin and yang, I guess. But they have very different goals. He's trying to stop the will and he believes in that. And she's just trying to get her man back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she cares about stopping the will at all.
I don't think so either. I mean, we know that this was her deal, right? The stuff
Right.
she wanted to get him, that's all she's concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck everything else.
Right. She did her part by joining the
Mm-hmm.
Dark One, so she's waiting to get the reward.
Exactly. Exactly. And I guess nobody ever said like one where and when that would happen, how long she'd have to wait for it. And I'm sure like she has tried several times to figure out which way is going to work.
I
So
mean,
maybe it's just
she's had
impatience, right?
3,000 years to think about it.
Yeah. It's like maybe there's just an impatience. Like, all right, can we just do the thing already? Let's
Yeah.
do the thing already so I can figure out if he still loves me or not.
They are very chummy and they also make it clear that they have different goals.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at the six seals, which I didn't catch on the first time what that was. Like I was so focused on getting to the next scene that like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like absorbing what was happening.
Right.
But we see the six seals of the other Forsaken. It was six, right? I think it was six.
How many of them? Is there seven or is there eight?
I think it's eight.
Then there would be six left.
Yeah, I think it was six. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. In any case, we can see the seals.
Hmm.
Um, we later learn that his plan is to open them and free the Forsaken so they can help him break the wheel. Her
Hmm.
plan is to dump them in the ocean where they can never be opened.
Yeah.
And we finally see Master Doman again.
Hmm.
And we find out that's where he got his piece of it to give
Right.
Moiraine. I wonder
Yeah.
why she. Hmm.
I
I
mean,
guess she just needed a merchant with a ship.
mm, you're gonna say what you wonder why she chose him?
Right. Why sell him a piece of it? But I guess it's to
Um,
set him up for later.
yeah, I was gonna say to play Moraine and get her to bring, Rand to feed to speed things along.
Right.
Because I mean, if she can pop into people's dreams, she's probably, she has been tracking Moraine in that way, probably, and knows what she's up to. So what better way to to um it, what's the word? What better way to present a catalyst than this, right? Because when Maureen gets this, obviously, even though she wanted um the spell, even though that's what she was really looking for, it does set everything off into the action that we see this season. It's weird that that was so long ago. Can
Yeah.
I just say something about this episode?
Hmm.
I know a lot of people love it. I'm not in love with it.
No?
No, I'm not. I I don't hate it. Um, and I understand that they're like trying to like tie everything up nicely so we can just start fresh in the next season. And I understand that from a production standpoint. Um, and maybe it's because I'm too used to George, but like I needed more meaningful deaths. I wanted to be surprised, and I have to remember that like not everybody's gonna rip your heart out and show it to you.
Yeah,
Um,
most
so
fantasies
most
don't kill
fantasy,
off,
important
main
people.
squad. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I felt like everything ended too neatly.
Mm.
And then we get to the end, which we'll talk about. And I was like, oh, thank God. I needed more conflict, I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So that's how I feel about it. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good episode because it was a good episode and it was really exciting. Um, but I wanted things to be left a little bit more unresolved.
I actually really liked the episode. I was happy to see things kind of wrapped up
Hmm.
because and I'm going to explain why. Two things. Everything in the last, I don't know how long, all our media and everything has been like dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I
Okay.
appreciate great characters, of course, but I also appreciate having clear heroes
Right.
and for
Right.
those clear heroes to win. I feel like the
Yeah.
George R. R. Martin version of this, like Egwene dies a Damane and they get revenge.
Right.
you know, but I was
Yeah.
happy. I was just happy to see the gang back together and like
Hmm.
winning because everything is so dark and gritty. And
Yeah.
and I and that's not to say I don't like it. I do like it, but I need balance. Like I need to have a story that makes me go like, ah, yay, the heroes won.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
every story doesn't have to break my heart and my spirit.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand
also,
that.
also, somewhat I enjoy, storylines carrying over into the next season,
Hmm.
but I also like to see that this part of it is wrapped up.
Yeah.
We have the dragon and foam
Yeah.
and everyone has finished their part of the storyline and we've come together and it's time for a new fresh storyline, but we do have the unresolved issue with the Forsaken. So we
The
do have something.
Forsaken and Mr. whose dad just got killed.
Right, the Bornhald and Child Valda, we still have
Yeah.
those things and what that could possibly mean for next season. But
Hmm.
this part of the story has a clear ending. So I feel like we finished a book and it's
Yeah.
time for the next
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. 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 I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I want more mess, I guess. And I think it's funny because before we started recording, I was thinking about this and just how I've been conditioned now to expect the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is nice. You know, it's funny because I can accept like the good guys winning in a different type of story. I'm trying to think of where the last time I saw good guys win and I was like genuinely happy. And that sounds terrible. But I can't think of one that comes to mind. I was like, oh, maybe a Blue Beetle, but I feel like Blue Beetle was left with like, obviously they're going to make a sequel.
I haven't seen it.
I liked it. It was a little, I think my only complaint about Blue Beetle is that it was a little long.
Mm.
I feel like they could have ended like 30 minutes before they did. But yeah, yeah. Like I said, I don't hate the episode. Maybe I was just underwhelmed. Or maybe because it felt like predictable to me. And my question, I can't remember how far you are in the books, but has this all lined up so far? Is my question.
Certain things from what I remember have lined up.
Hmm.
Um, do you want me to tell you everything now, or do you want to do it as we go through? Because
Um,
I
yeah,
well,
give me a synopsis. Yeah.
I can tell you like what I remember.
Hmm.
I do remember that Rand at least makes it to Falm, and that Matt blows the horn.
Hmm.
The heroes of legend appear. There's a huge battle with the children. Bornhald
Hmm.
gets killed. The father Bornhald gets killed, and people there's I can't remember, it was something like in the sky, so people see this battle and the word spreads about it, and like people,
Hmm.
some people believe it, some people don't believe it, but like that whole thing happened. As far as
Hmm.
the face off with like Ishamael and the things with the Damane, I don't remember that happening.
Hmm.
It could be that it didn't happen, or it could be that I just don't remember.
Yeah.
um and I don't remember how Egwene gets freed, but it had nothing to do with like Rand or um as far as I remember, I don't think it had to do with the attack from the children. I think that was
Hmm.
redone.
Conveniently.
Yeah.
Okay.
To kind of tie it up, and so that's what I remember.
Got it. Okay.
And I wasn't sure like how, if they would change some of this. There are certain things that I know are going to lead to other things, like Bornhald being killed is going to obviously have
Hmm.
repercussions. And we talk about Matt blowing the horn, but
I was just imagining Child Walda in therapy, sitting there just being like, working through his fears of like,
of
before it was
wolves.
just wolves, but now it's probably like anything that is on four legs and barks. I'm just like seeing on the couch, just being like just conflicted about how he's going to continue to like fulfill his duty to the light while harboring this just like debilitating fear of canines. Um, yeah, and Lupin. Anyway, yeah, I saw him on the couch and
Lupin.
everything. Ah, okay, I'm done. Can we talk about Moiraine and Lan?
Yes.
They're dropped on a beach at low tide.
So they're back together.
Love it. I love that for them. Um, yeah, I needed that this episode. I think, yeah, I needed that this episode. I needed Moiraine to tell Lan that, she wasn't worthy of him, like I thought way
I
back
loved it.
when. I was like, yay, I knew that. I knew it was why he's better than her. I needed him to like press her and just be like, listen, I get that you're scared, bitch. We all are. It's like the end of the world.
Right. You don't have to do this by yourself.
This is what we trained for, you know? And I mean, and I think just like her allowing and well, asking him is like, yeah, do you really want this back? And he's like, yes,
Right.
I swore my oaths. Like, let me serve. This is how I serve. Let me serve the way that I choose. Like, why are you
Right.
denying me that? That's not up to you.
Right.
Um, and it's like if you do that, you're taking away choice, like, so like we see happening in so many other instances of this episode, right? People not having their own agency to do what they want and to fight in the way that makes sense to them. So I'm glad she gave it back.
Me too. And I liked them showing how they do the bond. It was like they were getting
Hmm.
married.
Yeah, I loved every second of it.
I
It made me
loved
really
it.
happy. It
It
made
made
me
me
so happy.
think, it made me think, can you imagine if that's like how you actually did get married?
I don't think I would sign up for that.
Divorce would be so hard.
Yeah. Like, what are you
It's like
gonna
if you
do?
divorce, like one of you might kill yourself. That's gonna be a
Oof.
problem.
Yikes. Yeah, no. Hard
Yeah,
pass.
I was really happy to see them back together. I was happy we can when we talk about the battle, we can get into the weaves and all of that because I was really enjoying how they showed that.
Hmm.
Um and they get there and they reckon once they realize they're near Falm, they realize that Lanfear did this on purpose
Yeah.
because she's
I mean,
trying
she
to,
said that, right? She was
yeah.
like, you'll know when the time comes. When the time comes, light the banner.
And yeah, because Lanfear is pushing everyone to be in the right place at the right time
Hmm.
so that this shit can get done. This prophecy can just go ahead and be fulfilled.
So I can
And,
get my boo back.
and it makes me wonder what's going on at the tower now
Oh,
because
yeah.
word's going to reach the tower.
And we still don't know where Leandrin is.
We don't know where Leandrin is. By now, she must know that Barthanes has been killed. So she's
Hmm.
probably going to go into hiding. That would make
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Maureen's sister knows who she is and overheard that conversation. So there's no misunderstanding what happened.
Right. 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 Because
And,
he
you know,
was going
we,
to be the king.
right,
If the king is caught up, then that means that so are you.
right. And I mean, she's told on him. So it means the queen
Yeah.
possibly knows that there's a sister
Yeah. There's
in the
dark
Black
friends.
Aja, that there's
There's a
dark
black Aja,
friends.
exactly.
So yeah, I would think that at this point, Leandrin has to go underground because word's going to spread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be looking out for her.
And then the fact that she's missing is going to be kind of a hint that shit's not right. Varen already
Right.
wasn't trusting her.
Mm-hmm. What is the tower up to? It's like, are the blaring sirens and the red lights going off over there?
And someone must have founded Injured Suan.
By
So
now.
is there a target on Moiraine now? Do people think Moiraine's
Mm,
a dark friend?
I imagine they would.
Especially Leanne, because Leanne already didn't trust her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So does Moiraine also have to go underground? Because Suan wouldn't know that Alana and Varen helped her. Nope,
Mm-mm.
she would know about Varen because Leanne would
About
have
Varen
told her.
because Leanne will tell her, yeah. Tricky with her little wordies.
Yeah, there's going to be some problems. So there's a lot of things I think that have been set up for
Next
next
season.
season.
Yeah, I guess that makes me a little happier. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there are a lot of things that are set up, or more things than I realize that are set up to get messy in the next season. Because we do need to know what's going on with Anvir. We do need to know what's going on with Leandrin. We do need to know how Varen and Alana make out. Um, and I bet there's going to be a little bit of FOMO. I bet Alana wishes she was there fighting that
Mm,
battle. But I don't, that's not the last battle, right?
no.
So, they keep having all these all the foreplay battles, and they want to get to the main event. I don't know what we're going to talk about next, but I still don't know when Pat Fane got that
I
dagger.
don't either. And we'll talk about that too, because well, let's talk
Did you
about
go back?
hmm,
Mhm.
what were you gonna
I was gonna
ask?
say, did you go back and see that he got it when they were at a
Faldara?
yes.
But was it ever in Faldara?
This is what I don't know, but people in our comments were saying that that's where he got it.
But Matt
And
was at the tower by then because he didn't go with them through the ways.
I know, I know, I
So
know.
how would he have gotten
I
in Faldara?
I have no idea. I have no idea because Patent Fane is not my only thing is that maybe Leandrin passed it on.
That's the only thing that would make sense, but we haven't seen him and
We
Leandrin have
haven't
any
seen,
kind of interaction.
yeah. I mean, I never like I don't think we ever saw her with the dagger either. So I have confusion.
Yeah, there's confusion about the
Maybe they'll
chain
retcon it.
about the chain of custody here.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about Perrin and the Aiel reaching foam.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The reason I say that is because, well, I don't know when we're going to talk about this, but the reason that I scoff a little bit is the fact that there's this massive smoke screen situation in the desert being that's happening, and they're like, oh, wait, that doesn't belong there. And it's so obvious to them that something is up, right? But
Mhm.
meanwhile, like, where are the guards on the watchtowers? Like, where are the scouts? Nobody's like, yo, there's some suspicious smoke go like
And also
brewing
like a
over
ton
there.
of men with horses from far away coming.
Well, I mean, it's like even if you can't see that because they're coming through, it seems like they're coming through like the mountains or whatever. Like, why are you not noticing smoke? Like, you know what a dust storm
And
is.
like,
You're in the fucking
did they
desert.
did the children just have actual children on the front lines waving incense?
Yeah, the incense was going to protect them. That frankincense is like, gives you God powers. And I was just like, how many children do you have waving these? Because I remember when I was an altar server and like the prized duty, if you weren't going to carry the cross down into the church up to the altar, it was doing the incense on the special holy days, right? Because, or when you got to ring the bell during the, not eulogy, during the, ooh, Catholics don't come for me during the Eucharist. Um, yeah. So I always wanted to be the incense person. But all that being said, is that I've been to many masses where they have this incense, and it would take a bunch of you to like provide that type of smoke screen. And also, like, are they hoarding all the things that cause this? Anyway, that's my crazy brain getting way too into this way too deeply. But yeah, so I have problems with the tower's watch. The watchers on the wall. I have problems with their observation, and I could see a world in which they sent out scouts and the scouts were killed. All right, but why are we still not on high alert?
You know what? I think this could explain it, whether or not they meant this, but this is what I would think explains it.
Hmm.
Um, the Sanchin are this huge army. They're so powerful.
Yep.
And these soldiers are just foot soldiers. And at this point, the Fallmen are under control. They're probably not even thinking anyone's going to attack
Yeah.
because who?
Yeah.
Who would come
Yeah.
attack?
Who's coming for them because they're the most powerful army in the world right now.
And
I
even
get
Justin
it.
Falm, they outnumber everyone. So I don't think they expected anyone to even dare attack because they've gone through all these cities and just, routed them.
Yeah, but what would be causing that thing in the desert that we,
Well, I mean,
it's like,
they
what
did get
happened?
curious. It was just too late.
Way too late. And that's why I blame the people on the walls, like the ones with the high vantage points. But
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it could be just explained as, laziness due to this
complacency.
complacency. Yes.
Yep. 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 Okay. Fine.
That's my explanation. I have to find an
Uh,
explanation for everything.
yeah.
Perrin and the
Yeah.
Aiel, they get there and they meet up with Loyal, Ingtar,
Woo!
and the other dude who's really cute, by the way.
Reunited and it feels so good.
And they've retrieved the horn, which is excellent news.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Loyal's little mini speech.
Me too.
What about the heroes of today? We're
Yeah.
the heroes of another age's legend. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
that made me feel like anything was possible.
Yeah.
And it also made me think, oh man, these Feldarans are gonna die.
Yeah. I thought it was really inspiring. And it's also just for I thought it was a really good reminder of like, you know, the wheel turns and people come back and this is our chance to be those people. And maybe we were already those people.
Right. Did those
So,
heroes know they were gonna be heroes? No, you become heroes as the legend passes on.
mm-hmm.
Those were people who were just fighting. for, what they believed in. They probably weren't thinking of themselves as, yes, we are the heroes of legend because,
Yeah, and nobody's gonna pass. Who's gonna pass that down?
yeah, like they were just people fighting, and they become the heroes of legend after they've died.
Yeah.
And so his point, who are the heroes of today? We're the heroes of today. Um, it made sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like when we were talking about with the prophecy, we expect it to just somehow be fulfilled, even down to Moiraine sending the dragon. Well, there's no dragon, so send it. You fulfill
Yeah.
the prophecy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you don't in the moment think that you are, but you kind of realize, oh shit, I'm part of the prophecy.
Yeah. 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 This is where I come in.
Yeah. I was really hoping that Ingtar wouldn't die. But I just when he, you know, started fighting and was getting surrounded and all that. And
I
then he's
needed a
like,
bit.
and then when he said for the light of Shinovar, I was like, ah shit. That's his sacrificing myself to let everyone else get away cry.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it coming.
I saw it coming too. I was just hoping that it wouldn't. It seemed very clear that he wasn't gonna make it through this.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to. And I also felt like if he's not gonna stay, why does the other guy get to stay? I don't remember his name.
Yeah. I don't remember his name either. Does he
Mm.
make it all the way to the end of the episode, this other guy?
I
Did we
don't
ever see
remember
him?
seeing him killed.
Yeah. We're not blackfishing it, but yeah. Yeah. He's like that one guy.
Hmm? Which one
As I
guy?
say, he's like that one guy from Game of Thrones who's like always in all the scenes. The one, that one extra, forgot his name.
In the meantime, while these guys are reuniting, Mat is still in that room.
The temptation of Matt.
The temptation of Mat. Padan Fane, who inexplicably has this knife, has set it out for Mat because after his conversation with Ishamael, in which he offers to go kill Rand himself, it's like,
Yeah,
bruh,
for real. You know he's a male Chandler, right?
like you're let's calm down.
Yeah.
In his conversation with Ishamael, Ishi is like, all right, we have to speed this up because Lanfair has brought him. We need to hurry
Mm-hmm.
up and turn them to the dark. And so the quickest way they feel like they can turn Mat, since as he says, Mat's always been his,
Mm-hmm.
um, he is to give him the knife, which makes sense. Shout out to Mat
Mm-hmm.
thinking to make a spear and not actually touch it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Because
Because
it's just
it
like
was
you're
calling
watching
him.
him suffer in there, It's like putting a piece of cake on, well, unless it's Grimlock, putting a piece of cake on the table and expecting Donut not to touch it.
Right.
Just leaving him alone in the room with a piece of cake.
Right. It wouldn't last long enough for me to shut the door.
Yeah. Or like when Tips was alive, like, don't eat that or just Tips stay. And I'd watch her quiver like a crackhead until like she'd be able to do it, but she'd like be like she'd crawl closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, go back to where you were. And she'd like get up and go back and just sit there. And then yeah.
I wonder, well, I guess maybe because he's already aligned with the dark, but why didn't the knife have that kind of effect on Patton where he didn't want to give it up, like the one ring?
Mm, I don't
Shouldn't he have
know.
had some kind of connection to it if he's been walking around with it all this time?
That's a really good question. And maybe, I mean, maybe, well, he tells Matt they can all see the darkness in him, right?
Yeah.
Um, but maybe it has something to doing with not denying or fighting the darkness. Like if you've given yourself over, then it's like there's nothing to do here. Like Sword to me.
Sword Nimi just dying to kill somebody.
Yeah. That was number two. Boo.
But yeah, so Matt, he makes a spear. Very smart of him. gets
Hmm.
out. Paddon Fane's all like smug.
Ah, ah, ah. He was smug at first, but then he was like,
Yeah.
ah, like the dude in The Princess Bride.
Guards, guards, guards. Well, lucky for them, Matt gets away and runs into Perrin and the others.
How cute.
And they were so happy to see each other. And he dragged Rand's haircut, which I thought was hilarious. And so now that Perrin knows that Rand is alive, which is
Hmm.
great. And they have to get that horn to Rand
Yes.
because the world depends on it.
Hmm.
What did you think about Matt blowing the horn?
I was really excited about it actually. When he opened it, I was watching, he opens the case with the dagger, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, well, it doesn't make sense to me for Perrin to blow it. And it's just too far away. And I just wanted him, like I'm wanting Nynaeve to like have a redemption arc. And so I was really glad to see um, every we saw his past and his past lives and how like dark they were, but it didn't mean that it determined where he was going to go next. He
So
had a choice.
I also thought, like you said, we saw his past lives, and in each one, he was dark and
Hmm.
just pretty all around horrible. But seeing him now, where he suddenly starts to remember his other past lives where he's fought for the light, made me
Hmm.
think that Ishamael purposely only showed him his dark past.
Yeah, I think so. That was supposed to lead him into despair and
Mm-hmm.
helplessness, and to feel helpless and
And
just be like,
to
all right,
and
well,
to
I gotta go
also
along
want
with
to
anyway.
stop the wheel so
Hmm.
that he doesn't keep coming back and being this evil person.
Yeah.
So he
I
hid
mean,
that he had done good in his past lives as well.
yeah. Yeah. I like that he had the opportunity to prove himself. And for me, that was a really heartwarming moment too. Just seeing him know that his destiny is also two-sided, right? You can't possibly be born to the dark every single time.
It's just not fair.
Yeah.
Choice has to come in somewhere.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if there's only one path, then it's like, well, what is the point? Maybe the wheel should stop.
Yeah.
But if every life
Totally.
is a new chance to start over and to choose which path you're going to follow, well, then that makes
Hmm.
more sense.
Yeah. So this is the first time we've seen Matt fight actually too, outside of like bar brawls. I don't remember seeing him like really fighting before.
I don't either. I loved that he did his war cry in the old tongue. Well, first of all, he blows the horn
Hmm.
and everything goes into slow mo,
I
and
love it.
and then we start seeing the heroes appear. Were you thrilled to see Uno?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he deserved it.
He
It's like, oh
deserved it.
shit, there's someone I recognize. Yeah, that was really nice.
So we have all these heroes from all these past lives, and they have fought with Matt before. So now
Mm.
Matt knows that he has been good in other lives. And it gives him that boost he needs. And then he's like, I remember. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
Matt, yes, be good. Because I have said before, like, even though Matt comes off like somebody who very easily can go to the dark, I just wanted there to be some good. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because you're saying that, and in my head, all I hear is it's still fuck Theon in these parts.
Fuck Theon.
So I'm glad that you're willing to allow Matt to change his destiny.
I do allow Matt to change his destiny, but fuck Theon until the end of time in this life and the next. Fuck
Yeah,
Theon
I'm
Greyjoy.
happy that he got to turn over a new leaf.
Me too, but not Theon Greyjoy.
It did make me wonder also, like I didn't know because from everything that we've been hearing, it sounded like the dragon himself needed to blow the horn, so I
Yeah.
guess that was a surprise. Um
It did. It sounded like the dragon blows the horn and the
Hmm.
heroes of legend come and fight alongside him in this huge battle.
But I guess that makes more sense for it to be Matt because if the dragon is always the dragon, right? Matt, like, if the dragon is always going to be the dragon, no matter how he comes back, it makes sense for somebody else who had different options to come back and be able to summon the heroes. It makes sense in my head.
I mean, I do think it makes more sense for it to be Rand as far as like the prophecy goes.
Hmm.
Like why would one of the dragon's friends be summoning the army? He should be part of the army that the dragon summons. But
Hmm.
obviously, there's going to be a role,
But right.
there's going to be a reason for this, right?
Hmm.
There's going to be
Hmm.
a reason why Matt did it, most likely bigger than him just remembering his past lives.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like maybe he becomes like a general in the army or something.
What was your epiphany just now?
Um, it actually didn't apply. It was I was thinking about the part where Rand and the Emerald Street were talking, and she was like, "Yeah, no, you're not going to be a general in this army. You're going to be, you know,
A
the
weapon.
blade, a
Yeah.
weapon." Um, Such a small part to play, and that's what made me think, well, maybe Matt will be some kind of leader if they trust him, if
Which
they
I
continue
think
to
they
trust
do.
him. I think they do, but I don't know that other people will, because it feels like there's always the potential to go back to the other side. Um, the reason I say that's because it's like, okay, at some point they have to come out on the other end, and what is the tower going to do? It doesn't matter. Like the tower still doesn't want you knowing that Matt is the dragon. They still don't want
You
him.
mean Rand?
Yeah, sorry, knowing that Rand is the dragon, they still don't want him um doing the things that he needs to do to save the world. So I feel like there's just got to be like, what are they going to do to rebrand?
Yeah, I mean, they're still holding on to the fact that it was male channelers who broke the fucking world.
Yeah.
And they don't want to risk that happening again. Not just male channelers, but specifically Lews Therin, the dragon.
Hmm.
And so after 3,000 years, they're still riding horses and using swords. They don't want to start all over again and get
Yeah.
back here for in another 3,000 years. They haven't even had a
So
chance to get back
terrible.
to their former glory after
Yeah. After
3,000
3,000
years.
years, yeah. It's like when you think about how much technology has changed in the last 30, you're just like, what have you guys
Right.
been doing?
3,000 years. Like, how long were they just like sitting in the dark?
Yeah. Who gave them fire again?
Right. Like, nobody had anything to jumpstart this. Just,
They couldn't even weed. They had to learn all over again. Like, yeah,
I mean, when you think
such
about it,
major
though,
setbacks.
I was going to say, when you think about it, you reach a point with technology where you do forget how to do basic things.
Yeah,
I can't
you
tell
know,
seeds apart.
seeds.
Yeah, like if I have a
Oh,
plant suddenly and you just gave me a
right,
bunch of
right,
seeds and
right,
was like, well, we're gonna
right.
have to start growing our own food, I'd be sitting there like, I have no idea what these seeds are.
Is it a posy? Is it a pineapple? I don't
I don't
know.
have any fucking idea. Just plant all of them and see what happens.
Yeah, when you're saying that, it makes me think about my nephew who is 10, and I love him, but he can't read cursive because they don't teach it in school anymore.
Mm,
Yeah. You give him a page of cursive, and he's just like, I don't know what this says because he's not
wow.
used to, it's like he's reading Amharic or something. He has no
Wow.
idea what it says. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we lost all of our technology suddenly, I think a lot of us would be screwed. I mean, there's plenty of people who still farm and, all of those things that are
Hmm.
necessary to keep the rest of us
Would they share
fed
that
and
knowledge or would they
clothed.
hoard it?
I don't know.
Hmm.
So yeah, 3,000 years. I mean, this was a society that had like flying vehicles and shit like that. So
Yeah.
they probably did forget a lot of basics. Maybe they didn't. Maybe there really was only a handful of people who knew how to start fires,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, maybe all the tools were gone. How do you manufacture if you've lost all the tools? While all this is happening, the children are rallying the Falmen. They're like, take up arms, fight for your city. And that was actually really great because once again, it's like, oh yeah, we want the Sanjin gone. And
Right,
so,
right.
you're back to rallying for the children and being like, oh, okay, yeah, the children are gonna get them out of here. And then we see Child Valda, which snaps us back to reality. And, you know, he's ready to murder some Perrin.
Yeah.
Um, Before that, Bornhall Jr. sees Perrin and he's like, Two Rivers?
WTF?
Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
YWH.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a shock.
that was
What a
definitely
shock.
surprising for him. And him calling him Two Rivers, the fact that there was already like a warrant out for this guy from Two Rivers is not going to be a good look for Perrin,
No,
especially after
no.
he kills Bornhald Sr. for killing Hopper.
I feel like that's the thing that is going to push him into fanaticism, just like Child Waldo.
Hmm. And all he remembers about him is he's from the Two Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that takes us
Does not bode well.
because he
I
doesn't know
have a
his name, I
question.
think.
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he
Child
ever
Valda
introduced himself.
does.
Yeah,
And I'm sure he's
yeah.
going to tell Child Valda that his father was killed by that Two Rivers guy. So he'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, the one with the wolf eyes. His name's Perrin.
Yeah. And I want to know what Child Baldo was saying. Like, what was he gonna do? He's like, I want now we're gonna see what you really are. Like,
I think he was going to
what
cut
is,
him open.
oh, just like dissection?
Yeah, I think he was going to slit his throat and then just cut him open.
Hmm. I was wondering if he has like some magical, not magical, but some way of like forcing out. I don't know. Maybe he was just gonna butcher him.
No, I really think he was just going to kill him. Not even like dissect
Yeah.
him to study, but just like
Yeah.
kill him,
I
you
just want
know?
to know. Yeah. Like find out. I just want to see what you really are. And it's like when you think about what those words mean, it's like, well, how are you gonna do that?
I mean, I guess it could be looked at as him just saying it as a threat,
Hmm.
where somebody's like, let's see what you're really made of. And
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
beat your ass.
yeah.
So
Well, I would have
I
preferred that phrasing.
yeah, that's kind of how I heard it. Well, now we'll
Hmm.
see what you really are. Like, you think you're a wolf, you little bitch. Like, I'm gonna cut you up. No
Yeah,
wolf's
yeah,
here to
yeah.
save you.
Little did he know.
And damn it, Hopper didn't get the job done.
Aw, poor Hopper. And that's twice that these wolves have not been able to kill him
Well,
or been called back to the from the brink, right?
the first time he was down already because Egwene stabbed him in the shoulder. So the wolves didn't come for him. They came for the rest of his squad.
Will they eventually come for him and eat him?
I don't know. I mean,
Rip it or just like rip his throat out? Would be cool.
I
I
mean, I
would be
think they
okay with
need a
that.
reason to protect Perrin or to protect Elias if we see him again.
Hmm.
Elias? Was it Elias?
Elias. I think it's Elias.
Yeah, if we see Elias again, maybe to protect him. I don't know where Elias
Does he
is.
deserve protecting though? I mean,
Well,
yeah.
the wolves are gonna protect
The
Elias.
wolves are yeah, the wolves are protected, but I feel like I don't know. Do we get Perrin next season being like, all right. I lost my spirit guide and now I need another one. How do I go about assembling an additional pack?
At this point, he's starting to understand how to communicate with them better, so he can find a way to summon them, like he had been doing by accident.
Mm-hmm.
The pack is probably sensing that Hopper died. So, maybe they're looking for Perrin at this point.
And I have to kick his ass like they did to
Like they,
Homegirl.
yeah, they have to jump him back into the gang.
Oh, yay, Perrin.
Let's talk about Nynaeve. Nynaeve the torturer, Nynaeve the
Yeah,
relentless.
yeah.
Ugh.
She it was a little bit too comfortable of a fit for me, for her.
How easily
You
she was
know?
torturing that
Yeah.
Whistledown.
I'm like, don't be mad. Like, obviously be mad that they took your friend and they're doing all these horrible things. And I'm sure this woman is like not without fault, right? But like, damn, damn.
I mean, knowing that that's Sildam. Oh, and I did go back and watch it. She was wearing something on her arm, which
Hmm.
kind of doesn't make sense because if you don't have your Damani with you, there's no reason to be wearing it because we saw
Yeah,
Rena take hers off and hang it up, and it
yeah.
doesn't like end the link or anything.
Or unless that's like psychological warfare, you know? Like, hey, I'm gonna leave this here and you can't do anything about it. Ha ha ha.
Well, that's true.
Be demoralized. Um, yeah. And it was interesting to me to watch because it's like, yes, she's being very cruel. Um, but it made me wonder, kind of like we were talking about last time, is like, well, is this the first time that she's really able to control her power, right? Do this thing. She's like, I can just squeeze a little bit, and it's just like I'm giving just the right amount that I need to send over there. Because like she could have probably made her head pop off had she
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah. I mean, of course, we find out later that the Suldam can channel is just so weak that they don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So if Nynaeve was in full control, she, yeah, like you said, she probably could have just popped her head right off. Elaine was
Mm.
visibly uncomfortable with the torture.
Yeah, anybody would be.
I was not.
Anybody else would be. It made me uncomfortable.
I was not.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, take that, Suldam. Just a little taste of what you did, you know?
Yeah,
And the
I
way she's
think
crying and she's like, I can't let them see me like this. I'm like,
that's
bitch,
what I
I
was
don't
just about
care.
to say. That's what I was just about to say. Just like this shame of having been caught up in your own trap, right?
Hmm.
Um, and and worrying about your social standing in a time like this, bitch, we are at war.
Right.
We are at war. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kill all
Hmm.
slavers. Shout out
Yeah,
to
kill them all.
Daenerys.
Hmm. Kill them all.
So while Nynaeve is Sul'damming, Egwene and Rena are getting ready for battle.
So doming, am I right? Yeah.
uh,
Preparing for battle.
they're preparing for battle, and Egwene, bless her heart, is still defiant. Almost
Mm-hmm.
gets her tongue cut out for it. But shout out to her for holding on.
Mm.
I was like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I am not Toby.
Yeah. Good for her. But then Rena kicks her in the stomach.
Yeah, and cuts off her braid. That was
Just
actually
like,
brutal. Like her eyes just like filled with tears.
mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when we were talking about last week how she was, tending to her braid and she went back to her style and
Right.
just to have, she's constantly having her identity ripped away from her,
Mm-hmm.
you know. First she thought she was just a girl of the Two Rivers who was like,
Who's maybe
putting
gonna
the
be
sock on the
wisdom?
door and gonna like, get married or, you have
Gonna
your
be wisdom someday.
boo.
She was gonna be wisdom, remember?
Yeah.
So she wasn't
And
planning
then,
to get married. That was the whole
oh,
beef
that's
with her
right.
and Rand.
And Rand, right. And then you're like kidnapped and like, well, just swept out of your town, and you know that you just want to save people, so you have to leave. And then you find out that you can channel, but you're not as good as your friend, just like, and then you get captured, and then you're like, you're at the tower, you're being the lowest of the low. It's just like constantly her identity is shifting, um,
So
until she
her
comes into
her
her own later.
rebraiding her hair was a way
Mm-hmm.
for her to have a piece of
Exactly.
home and a piece of herself
Mm-hmm. And
and
then
go back to being Egwene from the Two
exactly.
Rivers.
But now she
Far
can't
less
be.
complicated. And now you've cut
Far
off her
less.
braid.
Mm-hmm. Once again, she's forced to assume a new identity. And I think obviously we know that this will, not that it's good for her, but being forced to say, you know what, this is who I'm going to be instead of this is who I have been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and giving her the opportunity to really decide and define because she has to reinvent herself now. Who is Egwene?
During that scene is when we see Rand arrive as well. So it's kind of set up for Rand to get there and
Hmm.
save her.
Yeah.
He so easily kills Turok and his soldiers.
So when I started watching this episode, I started watching it, and then when we got to the part where Rand channeled and just sent darts out and killed all those people, Chirac and crew, that's when I paused it and texted. I called Tanya. I was like, listen, we have to watch this at the same time. That was the point. I was like, oh my God, my neighbors will, they will, it's basketball season again. So they know what's up. But I was like yelling in my apartment. I was like, you know what? I wanted to text her something. And I was like, I can't, and like anything I text you during this episode is going to be a spoiler, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like me and Tanya used to have a rule that we can't like talk during episodes, like when we were watching Game of Thrones. But sometimes we would text each other emojis, and those emojis kind of felt spoilerish because you just know something big is coming. So I was like,
Right.
I
Right.
can't text her. So I
And that
stopped
totally
watching.
does count as a spoiler when you send like,
It
oh, you're
totally,
gonna feel this. You know what I mean? Like that,
yeah. Or just
because then
like
you're anticipating it instead of just
exactly,
being in the moment and just kind
you
of letting
know,
it play out. So I
whether it's
appreciate you not
one,
texting me.
yeah, whether it's one exclamation point or 20, it's just like the fact that this text came through and it doesn't have to do with the mundane things of our everyday lives was too much. So yeah, we ended up watching it at the same time, and then Tanya sent me like a sentence of exclamation points after. But yeah, so that yeah, at that point, I was just like, oh shit. Well, he doesn't have control, but he could do that,
Yeah, well, I mean,
you
he's
know.
learning to control it,
He's just
little
like,
by little.
oh,
He's not where he needs to be, but he's
yeah.
definitely changed in this short amount of time from
Mm-hmm.
accidentally burning down buildings to being able to spot and cut the shield on Moiraine
Mm.
to now
Yeah.
sending out individual daggers to specifically kill these people.
His
Except
Taurus is
except for that one,
precise.
his Taurus is precise. Except for the one guy who stabs himself in the stomach of all places. Like, what a terrible way to
Yeah.
go.
So long. Such a
Yeah,
long and terrible way to go.
yeah.
I meant to look him up. I recognized his voice. I don't know his face, but I recognize his voice. And I think it might be from some anime that I watch. I think he might be a
Hmm.
voice actor.
Yeah, Rand has come quite a ways in this short amount of time. He's really been
Yeah.
forced to.
Hmm. I love it. I love seeing that.
Now, this at this point, everything is just happening at the same time.
Chaos.
Beautiful chaos.
Hmm.
Rena is on the tower losing control of Egwene. I mean, she does send that one huge fireball out, but
Hmm.
she sees all the
Yeah, but they're
suffering.
not discriminating against who
Right.
they're
They're
just like
just blowing
whatever.
shit up.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve and Elaine are showing up with their fake Damane, who just promptly gets an arrow to the neck, which I didn't see that
Hmm.
coming. I thought
Yeah.
maybe they'd see her and, something would happen with that. But
Yeah, but we needed that for plot points, right?
yeah.
She gets the arrow to the neck and then her bracelet falls off. And I was like, "Oh, so this is how Tanya gets what she wants in this episode."
I was like,
She's got
yeah.
her hands up. She's jumping away, waving like it's carnival.
Yeah, I was like, yes, all right. Now we know what happens when a
Hmm.
Damane dies. It simply falls off, and now you got to find
Yep.
a new Damane. So I got what I wanted as far as a Suldam getting made into a Damane. And then this, of course, set it up for Rena
Hmm.
particularly being put in the collar, which I said before I really wanted to see that happen to her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if it would work because I was like, Suldam shouldn't be able to channel.
Hmm.
Um, Nynaeve, bless her heart, can't
Mm.
channel to save Elaine's leg.
But you know what I was upsetting to me was that okay, you know that you can't channel, and like later, Elena's like, okay, aren't you a wisdom? Just do what you would do medically for me now. And the fact that she didn't just jump to that was too much in my brain.
Nynaeve pushes that arrow through her leg, which is how you're supposed to treat
Mm-hmm.
an arrow, which is just horrible.
Yeah, you gotta push it through. You don't pull it back.
Yeah, that's just awful. Elaine took it surprisingly well. I would have
Hmm.
been throwing up and shitting my pants.
I feel like at this point she must have been in shock. I mean, it's still gonna hurt, but just like, yeah,
I would have at least fainted. I mean, an arrow is getting pushed through your leg. Like, I feel like your brain can't process that.
I would have looked on. Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it and smiled. Uh, yeah. Well, I'm glad that she got back to her fucking roots and was like effective
And
again.
once again, going back to her identity because
Mm-hmm.
she's no longer the wisdom of the two rivers. She's naively accepted in this place where she doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel like she belongs, but it's apparently where she needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
And but although she didn't get rid of her braid because she still very much felt like Nynaeve of the two rivers. Um, but yeah, it was nice to see her go back to what she knows in a place where she feels comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Saving people
Mm-hmm.
in a way that she knows she's actually good at.
Right, in a way that she knows she's good at and that she understands.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I can't picture a bird and a flower
Yeah,
on a
she's like the
bud.
bud, like she's like, no, that does not work for me.
Yeah, so
Um,
funny.
Lady Suroth and Ishamael meet up again. She's
God, I
pissed.
another eye roll.
I know she's
I
pissed because she's like, I should be up there. And he tells her to take her strongest. No, he asked her if she kept the strongest Devane in reserve. And I was
mm-hmm.
like, not Egwene. But I guess Egwene
Yeah.
hasn't truly submitted, so it wouldn't have been a good idea. We saw my blonde friend.
Oh yeah, this chick again.
I was hoping to see, I'm guessing she's dead, but I was hoping to see her do something. Maybe she's on the tower with Egwene when Egwene defies
Right.
her Suldam and she decides to defy her Suldam as well. And then the others start getting the idea. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I was
No,
kind of wishing for something like that.
she just had top billing as an extra.
Yeah. So Lady Sarath is gathering her strongest Demane, and Ishamel asks if they know how to gentle a man. So we know shit that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Um She's like, Turok is dead and the people are gonna look to me.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, you are worried about the wrong thing while your city is being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think she was gonna do? Did you just assume like it was to gentle Rand?
Well, I mean, I know that even though she's got these high ambitions, that she does listen to Ishamael.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have any bigger plans for her. I knew that she was just gonna follow orders.
Yeah.
And once they said that once he asked and she acknowledged or uh affirm acknowledged. Well, whatever. Once she told them that they could get the job done, I was like, oh, okay. So this is how she's in control. This is how she can shift the tide of battle.
Yeah, and it made me wonder again, like, wait a minute, what is Ashamael trying to do here? Like, he needs Rand to break the wheel in order to
Mm-hmm.
get what he wants, but Rand isn't going to be able to do that if he's been gentled. So then I thought, okay, if it's to gentle Rand, is he just going to gentle him and kill him and then just wait for him to come back in 3,000 years and do this all over
Yeah.
again?
Well, he seemed like he was ready to do that.
Yeah.
He said all he had is time. He's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, that's
You'll
true.
be back. You'll be born again somewhere.
It's a long time to wait. Well, the
And
tower
we don't know
gets
if it always takes 3,000 years for him to come
that's
back.
true. I mean, it has to take long enough that people don't like remember you. It
Mm,
can't be like 2 generations. Like you're your grandson's cousin.
mm.
you know,
Yeah, right.
it has to be long enough that like things are forgotten. It's a whole new world. Um, the tower gets destroyed from Egwene's side because she's not there to stop the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I did
I like
not.
that. I really love that she stood up. She stood up for that. I love that she was like, no, I'm not going to do this because you guys are killing innocent people.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, she's telling you, I'd rather die. I'd rather be maimed. I'd rather die
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
than, kill a bunch of innocent people.
Come at me, bro.
And that she's strong enough to do that when the sitter of the Blue Aja isn't even speaks to not just her
Mm-hmm.
strength in channeling, but like her resolve as a person.
Yep. Yep.
And she's been tortured as
Mm-hmm.
much as the others.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, it didn't surprise me about her character. Um, I'm trying to think, trying to like just line them all up and just to see who has the firmest resolve. And I think it's her. But I think it's Egwene because um she's kind of rolling with the punches. She's learning with the punches, but she's not getting more stubborn. She's not like yes, she's being defiant, but she's also being held in captivity as a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she's learning. She's constantly learning. Like no piece of knowledge is too unremarkable for her. She's taking it all in. So I'm not surprised that she has stayed this way. And turns into our
One thing we
heroine.
didn't mention about Nynaeve is she says to Elaine, whatever she's facing, meaning Egwene, whatever she's facing, she needs you, not me.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there we
Yep.
got her somewhat redemption, her admitting finally that she does not know everything and that she isn't
Mm-hmm.
always the best person for the
Yeah.
job. So
Yeah.
I
Because what's
was,
she gonna do? If Egwene is hurt, what's Nynaeve gonna do?
what's she gonna do? If her grain is being threatened, what's Nynaeve gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy that she got that slight bit of redemption. Like she's grown a little bit. In order to be able to admit that, she had to have grown a little bit. So this
She grew half a centimeter.
it's still a little bit, it's still growth. It's still growth. And I was
Uh,
happy that we got just that hint of growth from her. And I hope that we see more. So I don't have to be like, what the fuck, Nynaeve anymore.
I am so tired of that being the go-to. I really, really, really could use the opposite of that.
So as the tower gets destroyed, we see that pretty much all of the Damane and Sildam are killed. And we start seeing the collars falling off. They made sure to show
Mm-hmm.
us the sitter of the Blue Aja. I was sad to see her go because,
Yeah.
that's so shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was sad to see all of the Damane get killed, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess that's
That's
just
what you
how it
get for
is.
submitting.
Oh God, no, no.
I'm- Be more like Egwene.
Listen, we can't
Yeah.
we can't all be Harriet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I felt bad that all the Damane died. And I guess if that's the trade-off to get all the Suldam dead, then I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say it was worth it, but I guess I see how it just had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the tower was destroyed.
Yeah.
That Egwene and Rena lived was something short of a miracle. And at that point, it's like it's the
Mm-hmm.
prophecy at work or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
At
the
first I thought that Rena had died, but I was like, no, I know we need a showdown. We
yeah,
need a
we needed a
Clegane
showdown.
Bowl.
And Egwene is Tavaren, so maybe that's what saved her.
Mm-hmm.
She's Tavaren, the Wild still needs her.
Yeah.
So everyone dies, but not her. Um, Finding out her putting together that Rena can channel when Rena doesn't even know she can channel.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, Egwene, you are brilliant. We've been asking all season,
Yeah.
why are the Suldam able to do what they do if they can't channel? But if they
Yep.
can channel, why are they not Damane?
Exactly. This was like the bulk of our last
This was
episode.
this I was like taking my brain out of my head and scratching it because
Yeah.
I could not wrap my mind around this. And now we know is just they channel so weakly that it's
Hmm.
not detected.
Right. And it's like
Sometimes not even by
what Rena
themselves.
was, yeah, right. And it's like what the thing that we were talked about last time. I was like, well, how does she know what her light looks like? and like
Right.
confirming you could see her light too. And I'm like, wait a second.
And when
Wait
you
a
think
second.
about it, it makes sense because Egwene didn't know she could channel until Moraine showed her, and she's
Yeah.
powerful. So if you're a
Mm-hmm.
very, very weak channeler, you don't even notice.
Yep.
Nynaeve was channeling and healing and didn't even know she was doing it. And she's
Yeah.
also very powerful. So it made sense to me that finding out that they can channel, it made sense to me that they don't know they can channel and that
Right.
the people who make them Soldam don't know that they can channel. And so now I wonder about what the test is to become a Soldam. Do they put the bracelet on
Mm-hmm.
them and see who can work it and just say, okay, so that means you are deserving of this?
Right. I still want to know more. Are there like are there more of them? Did they all die in Falm now? Like, how does this work? Are we going to see that again?
Well, I
Or is it
mean,
just going to be?
I would think no, they did not all die because they're not from Falm. And so I
Mm,
wouldn't imagine that they wait a minute, are they from? Yeah, no, they're not from Falm. They arrived in Falm.
right. They're occupiers.
Yeah, they're occupying Falm. So wherever they're from, I would imagine that they have more Damane. But now I'm like confused because they have the palace there where they're holding Damane, and it seems like the
Yeah.
place where they're stored.
Yeah. I
But
don't
the
know. Maybe
Seanchan
they
aren't
have
from
multiple
Falm.
capitals because they're still, yeah, they're not from Fawn, but where, maybe it's just like wherever the Empress is. I'm sure the Empress, whoever that is, has like a couple kennels worth of Damane and Soldat.
Yeah,
I guess my question is just whether or not we're going to see them again. Because
I
it
have
seems
no
like there
idea.
was a lot of useful knowledge that was picked up in this episode that would be interesting to see what happens next with it.
It was I was interested in seeing how it was going to work when they become each other's Soldam
Mm-hmm.
because my question before it, I got the answer, obviously. My question was, wait a minute, if Egwene is torturing her, is she not feeling the same pain? Then we find out,
Yeah.
yes, she is. But the
Mm-hmm.
difference is she's used to being tortured and Rena
Yep.
is not.
Yep.
Rena gave in way quicker. She dropped that bracelet so fucking fast.
How does it feel? Yeah. Yeah.
Watching her
Whew.
choke to death was like kind of brutal. And Egwene just like looked her in the eyes the whole time. I was like, damn, bitch.
Mm-hmm. She was begging for her life and being like, listen, okay, I'm sorry. The guy was like, no, no.
Yeah.
Two shots to the head.
And even when she put
Bye.
the collar on her, she's incredulous. Like that only works on women who can channel, you idiot. And then she's like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell? And it starts to unfold. Like her saying that just answered everything for me. It only works
Mm-hmm.
because they hadn't said that yet. They hadn't told us
Yeah.
that. And now we know the secret of the Suldam. And so I do wonder, this is like a whole side mission, so never mind. I was gonna say, like, I wonder if word will spread that the Suldam can actually channel and what that would mean for the Seanchan and their empire and
Mm-hmm.
their whole Suldam Damane situation. But that's like
Yeah.
that's like a side mission that has absolutely nothing to do to further the plot.
Yeah. This would be a novella.
Yeah. Yeah, I would absolutely take this as a novella. Somebody write that, please.
Hmm.
I want to see the
Hey,
Soldam Damane society fall
Brendan.
apart. Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Rand finds Egwene after he's done with his kills. He makes it to the tower. He finds Egwene. He's there to save her, but she saved herself. And I was happy about that too. I was happy that she wasn't saved by Nynaeve or Rand.
Hmm.
I was really happy that she was able to resist
Yeah.
and to fight back and to win.
Hmm.
That was a huge that was huge like character development for her
Yep.
to have lived through
Yep.
this,
Totally.
and to have gotten herself out of it. And to know that she did not start killing a bunch of innocent people, so she doesn't have to have that guilt.
Yeah, she stood her ground.
Mm-hmm. So I was happy to see that. And unfortunately, their little reunion is interrupted by our boy Ishi. Ishi
Is
the Relentless.
she?
Ishi arrives, and so do the
Gives his
ships.
villain speech.
Gives his villain speech. All of the ships arrive and they're in position. He gives a little signal and they shield Rand. I thought they were just going to gentle him, but
I did
apparently,
too.
but then I was like, they can't gentle him. What's going to happen? But apparently, they decided to shield him until they
Yeah,
get the signal to gentle him.
right.
And I think it was so that he could still have a chance at turning him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that makes the most sense.
And he tells him that he made Egwene a killer and that he's going to turn all of his friends to the dark. And, in the hopes that that'll work. That horrible pep talk, and he's shielded. There's nothing he can do. He probably feels so broken. But
Mm-hmm.
Egwene wakes up. Good for her and her concussion. She wakes up and is able to throw up that shield and block him. Now, her facing off a Forsaken.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I didn't think she was that strong.
I didn't think she
Knew
had
she
it in
was
her.
strong. And we know that just like because he's surprised too.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, good. Oh, shit. Okay. How are any of the others like, how are you doing that? And she's like, oh no.
Right. Yeah, she's able to throw up the shield, and I just kept thinking, if she makes it back to the tower, she needs a promotion.
Oh yeah, for fuck's sake.
She faced
Give the
off
girl
a
what she wants.
Forsaken. Even if he killed her in that moment, she still faced off a Forsaken by herself.
Hmm.
By herself.
Sam the Slayer.
The Amerlin wasn't even able to do that.
I mean, to be fair, it was Lanfear who was stupid
It
strong.
was. It was. However, she still didn't face off
Hmm.
with the Forsaken. And obviously,
And it
Egwene.
caught her, but she got her, Lanfear caught her totally off guard too.
Mm,
Egwene had some time to consider that. Can I do this?
well, I mean, Lanfear got there and she decided she was going to attack.
Yeah, she's coming
And
off of a big win.
yeah, so, it wasn't so much that it was caught off guard. She was caught off guard, but Lanfear didn't attack her from behind. She
Yeah,
just brushed
yeah.
away her little knives with a flick of the wrist. So yeah, Egwene absolutely needs a promotion. And luckily, Nynaeve and Elaine show up in time to help her, and Perrin. Like the whole
And
gang shows
Perrin.
up in time, which is totally just
Well, because we
hero.
forgot, Matt stabs Rand. he,
Yeah.
he throws his spear, his knife spear, his
Yeah,
dagger
he thinks
spear.
he's gonna kill Ishamael, and Ishamael pulls a Loki and is like, haha, it was an
Mm-hmm.
illusion. How did you not see that, dummy? So we
Mm-hmm.
get that being fulfilled, Matt stabbing Rand. I was happy to see that it wasn't intentional
Fatal. Yeah,
because
yeah,
I feel
right.
like in the vision it looked intentional.
In the vision, it did look intentional because in the vision, he's also like consumed with darkness and holding the dagger in his hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
So
I
now we
think
know
my favorite part,
men's visions aren't exact.
right? Um, yeah, but I think my favorite part of the episode was seeing Egwene make this like shieldy force field.
Mm-hmm. She's like Violet from The Incredibles.
Yeah, or like shit, what's her name from Bleach?
Oh, I don't watch Bleach.
Orihime from Bleach. She's got those defense shield powers too.
But yeah, everyone shows up on time. The gang is truly back together now, which I was like, it was like the hero moment I needed
Mm-hmm.
because,
Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know what the theme song to Welcome Back, Kotter is, but that's what I was going for. And if you don't know what that show is, you're way younger than we are because it was old when we were young.
Yeah. All right.
The gang's all together.
The gang's all together. Matt throws the spear. Egwene throws up her shield. And Matt tells him again, I'm not Matt, I'm sorry. Rand tells him again, I will never serve you in this life or any life.
Mm-hmm.
And
And by the way, I don't think I ever did. So
yeah, he's like, this is, I don't think this has ever worked. So I
yeah.
think that, but then it's like, how many times has the dragon been born?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's got to be 3,000 years. I think it's just like, you know, think about, especially since they're living in the dark ages, maybe the dragon just doesn't make it out of childbirth sometimes. Maybe the dragon gets to learns to lives to be like 6 and then falls
Mm,
off a bridge or some shit, you know?
yeah,
How often in his lifetime does he reach maturity to be
right.
able to do this? Don't
Because
know.
it seemed like the dragon being reborn is like this huge thing that's going to happen. So if it's happened before, these battles would have happened before. So that's
Mm,
why I felt like this is the first time the dragon has actually been reborn because, they just keep talking about 3,000 years ago.
yeah.
During this whole battle on the tower, not battle, I don't know if I'd call that a battle, but, the
Standoff.
standoff, yes. During this whole
Mhm.
standoff on the tower, Moiraine and Lan are out there fighting on the beach, and Lan is catching arrows and just
Mm-hmm.
fighting off all these soldiers single-handedly while Moiraine is
Meow.
doing her interpretive dance and getting her weaves together.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I loved seeing like her concentration and how she's putting like her whole body into it. And we know that she's pretty powerful and skilled herself.
Mm-hmm.
And so to see that it took all of that energy and concentration and also surprise to take out the Damane on
Yeah.
the ship, I loved seeing that, because one
Mm-hmm.
thing I don't like with things with magic is when the magic is just the answer to everything. Like
Right.
anybody can do it. It's so easy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it becomes
And it's effortless, right?
right
Like
too
you can
effort.
see that this is taking.
Exactly. I don't like when the magic is too effortless. I feel like you have to be losing something, or you know what I mean? Or you have to be working for it to be able to make this
Mm-hmm.
magic work in order for
Yeah.
me to accept it, because what
Yeah.
I think matters.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, think about like the magicians where it's like, oh, it's just not, you don't say a magic word. There's like this, there's a precision there, right? You have to like do the, again, like in the magician, it's the hand movements
Mhm.
and getting your fingers to like point in the right direction for yeah, it's like they talk about it early on in the books, like how everybody's fingers ache from trying to like get
Yeah,
their muscle tone to do these things. But yeah, so Moraine, you could see like she's giving it everything she's got
because she has
to
to
be able to do
succeed.
this.
And
Hmm.
as Rand's telling, I'm sorry, as Lan is telling her, what if there's innocent people? What if it's not the Damane? And she's like, I will kill 1,000 innocent people
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
means, supporting Rand. And it was like, I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, I guess that is what it means.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
by any means necessary, even if it means
Hmm.
killing innocents, which is terrifying. Um, but she successfully blows up the ships. She's able to hit right where the Damane are. So, they didn't survive. I wonder if Lady Sura, she gets blown off of the ship.
We don't see her
I'm
die.
assuming she probably died though.
I don't know how they do it in this world, man.
I
Uh,
mean,
but I
we
assume,
in a
like,
way
with all
we've
that stuff that she's wearing, she probably drowns.
yeah, and I think as far as the story, I think we've gotten what we need from Lady Sura,
Yeah,
especially now
yeah.
that Ishamael is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because Rand stabs him with the one power and the Heron Mark sword, which is part of the prophecy, that I didn't
I didn't know
mention.
that.
I didn't mention it because I didn't want to spoil it, and also in case they didn't do it. But part of it is him
Mm,
having the brand in his hand.
right. Cool. I enjoyed
Um,
seeing that.
yeah, so he uses the one power and his daddy's sword, drives it into Ishamael and melts it down and burns his hand in the process. But Ishamael has turned to dust, and he's so happy to die.
I was happy for him.
But my new question became, is he gonna come back though?
Is he giving you the pursuer?
Right.
This is
Because
exactly what happens to him, right?
right, he the whole point was that he didn't want to die and come back, but the wheel's not broken. So
Mm-hmm.
is it that he's 3,000 years old and given to the dark, so killing him really kills him and he doesn't come back? Because if not, he's just gonna come back and do this again.
Well, it seems like
Not in Rand's lifetime, but if this is really the last battle though, and he
Hmm.
doesn't defeat the Dark One, like, do the Forsaken all just come back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Shamil turns to dust and he says, "It's beautiful. I see nothing."
Hmm.
Maybe because he turned to dust, it's supposed to show us that he's gone for real.
That's what I that my feeling was that he's gone forever. He got what he wanted. I don't know because Lanfear did say that she's going to try to get Rand to kill him, but whether or not he was going to do it, no, she said that she said that she told Rand that he would be able to kill Ishamel,
And that she would
and that was
help.
good, and that she would help, right? And this would be how she can prove that he can trust her. So mission accomplished there, but evil being evil, Ishamel did not leave without a parting gift. Oh, I
Moraine
love that.
sees from where she is, she sees everything happening. And then that's when she's like, oh, yeah, the flaming dragon banner. We forgot about that. And once
Hmm.
again, gets into her stance, waves her jazz hands about, and produces this dragon weave that it seemed like there was some flame coming in and it combined with it. Was that what you saw?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
What is on your mind?
I'm not happy with the dragon. I thought the dragon looked whack. Sorry.
Oh.
I wanted a better fire dragon. I wasn't happy with it, but
Yeah, I was satisfied. I
I
was just
wanted
happy
more.
to have a fire dragon because I
I'm
wasn't
happy to have a fire
expecting
dragon,
I
but I
wasn't
wanted a
expecting a
better
fire
one.
dragon.
Yeah. Yeah. All good though.
I was expecting some kind of symbol to appear.
Like
Not
the
like,
Death Eaters.
yeah, like not like an actual dragon on the building, but like,
Mm,
you know,
yeah, because it did
something
just say
appears in the
banner.
sky. Yeah. Like I thought like whatever the Dragon Reborn's symbol, he must have a symbol, right?
Hmm.
What,
Hmm.
or whatever that is, I expected it to show up in the sky from like Rand channeling and
Yeah,
unknowingly sending it into the sky, or even
right,
knowingly
right.
sending it and just
Hmm.
suddenly somehow knowing what to send.
Yeah, but I think if we're talking about the fact that the knowledge has been lost over 3,000 years, like the only thing that people would recognize in the streets is a dragon made of fire.
Yeah.
That had to be,
Yeah.
because some symbol appears like, oh shit, evil has come, or like
Yeah.
that. You just know that your city has been fucked up and people are laying, dying, and screaming in the streets. And now there's this weird thing, like, not like, oh shit, now there's hope. It had to be a dragon.
Yeah. And I mean, the people in the streets are cheering. They're so happy. And the
Hmm.
Aiel are like, Karn. So they know that
Yeah.
they found their chosen one. And so they're definitely into this now. Um, and then the heroes disappear. So this part of the prophecy has been fulfilled. The dragon has proclaimed himself in Falme with
Hmm.
his flaming dragon banner. My next question, can that no, wait a minute. I was gonna say, can the horn be
She
blown
snatched
again?
it back up. She
Yeah, I was
snatched
just
it.
gonna say, can the
Mhm.
horn be blown again? But then I remembered the one of the heroes like took it and just made it disappear.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'd be remiss not to mention Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, right? Where Aragorn goes into the mountains and he brings his all the crew that like abandoned ship
Mm-hmm.
and then has to now fulfill their debt and fight with him. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, the horn disappeared. So one time only. One time only.
So then, like,
Um,
what happens? Is like the horn reappear in some another stage of life? Does the horn only has it just been waiting for 3,000 years? Like,
mhm.
how
Well, if this
how
is
was
the
it
last battle,
created?
then what
But this
else do
this
they need
battle
from?
wasn't the last battle.
I mean, but if this is the thing that this is the catalyst, right? Like this is the battle that signifies the last battles to come. Um,
But I would have thought he'd need it for the last battle. So like, did Matt accidentally like fuck shit up? Because I would
mm,
have thought that the dragon needs to blow the horn at the last battle to call the heroes of
mm-hmm,
legend to defeat the dark one for once and all.
mm-hmm.
But instead
Um,
it's been they've been released at this skirmish in Falme.
yeah. I don't know. I would be very much into Matt having fucked shit up by jumping the gun on this.
Matt just shits the bed and everything's
Yeah,
screwed.
but I feel like he's been redeemed, so no. I don't know. Maybe it comes to them again in their time of need or something. But
I mean,
yeah,
I think Matt did
I
the
mean,
right thing.
is it part of the prophecy that the horn will be blown and the dragon will declare himself at Vom? Because if that's the case, then
Then
it has
yeah,
happened.
I don't know. I need to look up this prophecy and actually read it.
Hmm,
I probably won't, but I should.
I won't. You can leave it in the comments though.
I
We're not
just
gonna
don't want to
interfere.
accidentally get spoiled by something while I'm looking
Yeah,
for it.
that's what I'm saying. Is like I can't do it. I don't know enough. I feel like at this point in the episode, I realized that it was the season finale because I kept forgetting.
Mm. Well, I thought that was the end of the episode. I forgot all about Lanfair and her plans.
That's why I was upset. I was like, come on. So when the scene goes black and then it comes back on, I was like, oh, yes. Although I was like 80% of me was ready to duck my face in case there was a spider.
Ooh, where would a spider have come into this?
Well, because of the way that crazy bitch was channeling, like how
Oh,
she
it
was
looked
playing
like
with her weaves,
webs.
it looked
Yeah.
like webs. And so I was just ready for it to happen. What's her name? Mo
Hold on.
Sorry,
Mogedian? Mogedian?
Mogedian. Yeah. No,
Mogedian?
yes. Yes. Her.
Her crazy
That
ass.
that bitch is
Is she
crazy.
the one who Lanfair had said was mad?
Maybe because she's acting absolutely unhinged.
Because I feel like she was named.
I don't remember. I just remember that there were the two who couldn't like come up with a plan between themselves, and one of them was really crazy, and then she mentioned something about,
I think Mogedian was the
two
crazy
others.
one. I didn't get an answer about this Alusha person who
Mm,
was whispering to Logain. And I wonder if that is a Forsaken or if that's just something that's never going to be revisited. Because I felt like naming it must have meant something.
mm.
Because why not say like the Weave said this, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, what's her name?
Mogedian.
Mogadian did say that before Ishi pieced out that he released all of them.
Yeah.
So I imagine that if there is a one of those elusive that we're gonna meet her
Yeah, I
or
mean
him.
she comes back and she's all smug because she's ready to take these sails to Master Doman and have them dropped in the deepest part of the ocean, only to walk in
Mm-hmm.
and they're all broken. So Ishamael was
Yeah.
ahead of her. I mean, I guess that's what she gets about being so forthright with her plans to betray him.
Yeah. She forced his hand. Just like she forced everything. And this is a consequence of her own actions.
And Mogedian very easily traps her.
The way that she was afraid of her. We talked about Moraine being like terrified of Lanfear, but like Lanfear was shook.
But they said Lanfair is the most powerful. So I just wonder if Mogedian is just the most crazy.
Yeah,
And it's like maybe she's not as powerful, but she's willing to do far more than Lanfair is.
I'm into a crazy supervillain. I really like that.
Softly, softly, shadows. She was so creepy.
So creepy. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Well, she tells Lanfair to stay away from Rand. And he's ours now. All of them are. All five of them are.
Hmm.
Whew.
So what are they gonna do? Take Lanfear off the board? I mean, she's scared. But we haven't met any of the other ones, and we don't know what their relationships are to each other because she also tells Lanfear that y'all three were too close.
Mm-hmm.
Your throuple was preventing you from seeing what actually needed to happen.
And do they want the same thing as a Shamael? Do they want the wheel broken?
It seems like they all
Do
have
they
their own
just want
motivations,
right?
right?
Do they just want chaos and the dark one to be ruling?
Yeah, they just want to walk the earth in darkness.
We know that Lanfair wanted her man back and Ishamael wanted the wheel broken. So what did the others want?
Hmm.
Why did they give themselves to the dark?
That's what I was just about to ask. What was their deal?
Because it has to be more than just, oh, I don't know, I was feeling evil.
I woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, and I just said, "Fuck it,
Ah, my
let's go."
coffee's cold. In the dark I go.
Uh, yeah. Well, I feel like I'm glad that the season is over because it was really intense. It happened so quickly. I'm not going to say it happened so quickly that I feel like I didn't have a chance to enjoy it because that's not true. I did enjoy it. Um, but it kind of gave me whiplash the way that it started and it's over already. It's gone. That's it.
Yeah. It did have feels like well, it did go by fast because we got our first 3 episodes in one day.
Yeah, please don't do that again.
They're gonna.
Please give me like two.
That's what they did last time. They're gonna keep
Give me
doing it.
two. So annoying.
The
We got the
Twilight
Twilight Zone.
Zone. Season 1,
Yeah.
episode 21, Mirror Image.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a very good
We'll be talking about that and consuming beverages.
9 p.m. October 10th. October 17th, The Craft.
Can't wait.
That's going to be fun. October 22nd, Book Club.
The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope.
Very good read. You still have time. Hurry up and read it or get the audiobook.
It's audiobook. It's a very fast audiobook, actually, if you're just going to concentrate. I think it's between 8 and 10 hours.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It's not like when I open up my audiobooks and I see Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson is 25.
The 24th, October 24th, we have Beetlejuice.
The only villain name that I will say 3 times.
Not that other guy. And and then on Halloween, October 31st, our spooky season film festival finale. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Should have given that a trigger warning. And then we're on hiatus for November.
Taking a break because that is a lot. To find previous episodes, go to thousandeyespodcast.com. You can also find us on YouTube, A Thousand Eyes in One Podcast. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter as Thousand Eyes One, Facebook and Instagram, A Thousand Eyes in One. If you're interested in our speculative fiction book club, that is Wine on an Empty Stomach on Instagram. I've been Tanya.
I'm always Nikki.